All right, welcome to 2020. My name is Dave Savage, CEO of Mortgage Coach. What's up, Todd Bookspan?
You know, Dave, I am super excited to be here. I cannot believe it's another year and another decade. Whoops, you are muted, Dave.
I know, I'm just trying to control air traffic. I'm coming to you live in a remote location. I'll be doing this a lot in 2020. I looked at my travel schedule and it's extensive, especially for these first few weeks. Michelle Town, it's so good to have you back, and looking forward to having you as our wing woman on today's call.
Happy Friday, everybody, and happy 2020. And like Todd said, new decade. I'm super excited.
Cool, guys. So, hey, this is a mastermind, which means your questions matter. The more engagement we get from the community, the better. Whether you're asking a question in chat below or whether you got a big takeaway, you had a great quote, put that down below. So this is a part 2 call. I did an interview with Rene Rodriguez. He is our special guest. What's up, Mr. Rene Rodriguez?
How's it going?
It's going good, buddy. So why don't you give everybody just a highlight of that last call, and then let's get into the script that we have today.
Yeah, actually, as I was getting ready for this is actually part 3 of this, because a lot of the things that we've been doing, we need to go back to. And if you remember that interview we did when I was in Vegas, I was in that lime green shirt with the whiteboard. That interview piece on how to be a conversationalist translates into a big section of what we're going to be talking about today. But I think what you're referring to is looking at when we talked about sales math and the study that I did where, what happens when we call 10,000, when we dial and we track actually 10,000 dials. And so just the brief backdrop to that was we took 100 loan officers. This is a client I had several years ago. And for a 3-month period, all manager approved, watched, we tracked 10,000 dials into a proprietary software that we had created just for this. And we ended up dialing 5,180 agents, 4,872 clients. And we wanted to track just real simple metrics because remember the backdrop is the biggest challenge that companies face. If you go to even some of the most tech forward companies and you look on their wall and you see all these metrics and all these charts and graphs and everything, all of that is measuring for a loan officer lagging indicators. I remember I'd walk them through and I'd say, the CEOs were so proud of what was going on. And I'd grab a loan officer. I'd say, hey, does that mean anything to you? And they'd look at me with blank faces. And I said, so none of this helps you produce more. And they said, no. I said, but it helps you run a company, but it doesn't help a loan officer. And so a lot of missing data is around this piece. And even loan origination softwares have done a disservice, I guess, to true salesmanship. And you look at even the definition of a lead in most of those softwares is already an application. And so I always look at, man, there's so much that had to happen prior to that application coming to life that wasn't ever measured. And so I wanted to look at what is that controllable thing that if I did right now, I could see my business increase. And that's just picking up the phone and dialing. And Todd, I know you've talked to all of them in your journeys with Win by Noon. Dave, you know all of the top producers. And if we were all asking what's the one thing you do to turn around your business, they all say pick up the phone. And so this comes back to understanding the 10,000 dials and also a year-long process that I went to, approximately a year-long process. I went across the country and brought this concept to life, which was, and Dave, you know me, it's one of those that I don't have much, I pretend to have patience on sort of my online presence, but I'm a very impatient individual and I don't have patience for people saying things like, yeah, this wouldn't work for my industry, or yeah, Rene, you haven't closed a loan in 15 years. I haven't. And I still think, excuse my language, that's bullshit. It's a widget that needs to be sold. It's a value proposition that needs to be communicated. And so I went around and I said, here's the script, but don't worry, you're not going to be the one that has to do it. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to set appointments as your assistant. Because they said, well, you're Rene, you have cool videos and they may know who you are. I said, no, I'll just do it as your assistant. And we wanted to test the script. So that's the script that we talked about and teased about. But now I want to give a warning. This today isn't about even the script, because the script, if I were to hand you the script, you would probably not do much with it and probably say, oh, this wouldn't work. And so the script's value is directly correlated to your understanding of the psychology behind it. And so that's why Dave kept saying, can you share the script? When you share the script, I'm like, no, it's not that I'm trying to hide anything. I didn't want to do you guys a disservice. So I want to give you the backdrop to the script, where it comes from, what's the rationale behind it, and then give it to you free to have fun, do whatever. And then let's talk about it and see what works and what doesn't. And you guys will probably even add to it and make it even better. And so the other I'm sorry, go ahead.
Hey, real quick before we get into it, I want to remind folks, make this interactive, be present during. I mean, that's why I put so much energy in the content we create and the Facebook that you're part of. You could either be watching this live in Zoom, or you can be watching this live in the Mortgage Coach Productivity Mastermind. So put comments down below. And the most important thing is what you do before you take that application. I mean, the difference between a client for life and a one-time transaction is that point of sale experience, and it's your follow-up. The difference in conversion, like when I interview top producers, the best of the best consistently prospect, and they do it more effectively. So I just want to make sure you guys really make notes here, are super present. Todd, now that you've kind of heard the setup to this, anything you want to add before Rene keeps going?
No, I'm just super eager, right? I mean, as Rene said, this is kind of my love language, right? Pick up the phone, figure out exactly what are the activities you need to do to get the results. And then sounds like Rene's about to give us the secret sauce in between the psychology and what to say. So I'm ready to rock and roll.
Cool. And then Michelle Town, knowing that you are in the trenches implementing and executing right now, please, represent the street originator and ask Rene questions and make it, as practical as you can. So Rene, keep it rocking, brother.
I love that. First of all, I love what you said, the street originators, like you guys, Michelle, Todd, throw darts at this, get excited about what gets you excited, but, challenge some of these thoughts. But I'm also going to use Todd and Michelle in this a little bit. So just be ready to riff with me a little bit on some of this, because I'm going to be testing some things out with you. So this also, there's another philosophical thing I want to talk about here too, which is preparation. As you said, I think it was you just said it, Dave, is everything on this. So I'm even going to cover what I do in a 30 to 90 second period of time on a realtor website before I call. Because to be able just to make a phone call blindly, nobody wants that phone call. But if I know even just a little bit about what's going to happen on that phone call with the person, or a little bit about that individual, it's going to make things a lot better. So I'm going to show my screen real quick here, just to recap what we did last time, because I think the numbers, everybody asked about the numbers. And so I'm just going to show that real briefly here. Tell me if you can see my screen.
Also want to remind you guys that the recording of this is in our YouTube channel. I put a link to it in the promotion of this, and we will also put a link to this. So I would recommend you go back and listen to this and make this part of the overall learning experience.
Absolutely. So can you see my screen there okay, guys? Todd, Michelle?
Yes, sir.
Perfect.
We see it, man.
Perfect. So I call it the sales math case study, and I'll go back through that a little bit. And then I'll make sure, Dave, you can handle the chats that are coming through. But again, we dialed 5,100 agents, 4,872 clients. And the results were this. I just want to jump right to the results. We found that 61% of the time, we're just talking about the real estate agent side, that 61% of the time they answered their phone. That means we spoke to 3,160 agents in that time, and 31% of them set appointments. That was a total of 980 appointments that were set. And then 24% of the ones that answered gave us leads. That was 758 leads. So just to know that if you pick up the phone and call an agent, 61% of the time they're going to answer. So, I mean, think about the logic of that. Most agents aren't that busy, so they're going to answer the phone. And so whether you get anything further than that, it really depends on whether you have something good to offer. So the quick assumptions behind that are average loan amount being $200,000, average commission being $3,000. My assumption is it takes about 5 leads to close one loan, 20%. And so if you did the math on 758 leads generated, that's 152 loans, over 30 million in volume, 456,000 in commissions. And so Todd, Michelle, do you have any challenges with these basic underlying assumptions here?
No, I think the math looks really good.
No, I
Perfect.
don't. I think what's interesting on this math, if I just did my quick calculation. So 61% of the people picked up their phone calls, and out of 61 people answered the phone. Out of that, 31 made appointments, and out of those 31, 24 gave them a lead. So that's a 77% conversion, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, it's. I mean, if you think about it, they're not busy. Most agents aren't that busy, so they'll take the phone call, but then what happens after they take the phone call is really what matters. And so, get this off my screen there. So go back to the next piece where we at here. So what I did the math a little bit further, and I wanted to know what's a dial worth, and the dial ended up becoming, if you take 456,000 divided by the amount of dials, that was $88 per dial, which is absolutely ridiculous. You get paid $88 just to dial the damn phone. If you talk to them, it's 144. My assumption was a talk to is worth 120. So it actually is a little bit more. But I've always said that a lead is worth $600, and it came out to $601, which is just amazing when you look at statistics. So now we dial the phone onto a different case study, which was me traveling around and actually setting appointments, because the goal I had was to teach people how to pick up the phone and do this. And there's actually a Facebook Live of me about 3 years ago doing this, because people started hearing about it. And of course, Mr. Dave Savage said, dude, do it live. And I'm like, I've never done a live before. So I asked one of our millennial guys to record it. And as we were doing it, we realized I didn't want to put realtor conversations out there live. So I was up there, but when they actually spoke, we muted it. But I would do this with about 80 agents in the room. And what I found was a lot of different things. One is that people are super scared to make these phone calls. Granted, I get it. It's a scary thing to do. And there's a whole onslaught of people right now saying that cold calls are the thing of the past. That's just not true. Sales is not going away. And if you have a great marketing strategy, Nick Carpenter's a good friend of mine. That guy's a genius marketer. If I could have him, put his plan in place and I didn't have to pick up the phone and call an agent, I'm awesome. That's great. But that's a marketing strategy. I'm not a marketer, and marketing and selling are different. And you kind of have to decide which one you want to be. There are some people that are good at both, but very few are good at both. It's like being a doctor and a lawyer. They're very different skill sets. It's hard to be good at both of them. I'm a salesperson. If you are a good marketer, awesome, then you don't have to do stuff like this. But I'll tell you the skill sets that we're going to cover in here, and how to, once you get on the phone with them, that lead that the marketer has generated for you, you're still going to need to know what to say and how to add value. And so what this is, and the things that I try to create, I try to prove them at the lowest conversion rate possible. If I'm teaching somebody how, that they challenge me, well, if 5 talk tos doesn't generate a lead, I said, well, I've proven that at Starbucks a million times, where we go and I'll take new salespeople to Starbucks and we have to talk to 5 people and generate a lead. It always comes out to 5 to 6 people, you'll generate a lead. And so this was...
Hey, Rene, real quick, if you could stop sharing the screen just so we can see the whole picture of you. And then I guess I want to provide some commentary that, guys, if it's 2020, I think it's the rare exception of loan officers that can just be a great marketer and kill it. I think you need to be both, and sales is where it's most important for you guys to crush it. So I just want to put that out there. I also want to ask everybody in the community, if you do know your sales math, put that in comments down below at some point in this call or after the call. I want to just see what the community looks like. Todd, have you ever done anything in your community to get the sales math of what the average win by noon, or I know you don't know the sales math, you haven't listened to this call yet, but do you know any of the metrics in the win by noon community?
It varies. I mean, I think the whole point of win by noon is helping people figure out what are the metrics for you compared to everyone else. Because again, it kind of depends on your market, your skills, and then it's going to give you it's going to highlight those opportunities where you need to improve. So the answer is no, we don't have it right now, but we are launching Monday, our first 4-week challenge of the year. So hopefully we'll start getting some data, within the next few weeks as that one wraps up, and then we launch into the February 4-week challenge. So anyone who's interested in that, just ping me, happy to add you to it. But we'll be tracking all these things that Rene is talking about through January with hopefully a pretty big group of loan officers as well as real estate agents. So it should be kind of fun.
Well, I know we've got a lot of top leaders on this call. Please share your sales now down below. I also saw a post this morning where someone was asking about key metrics and asking for what the metrics are. So, guys, let's make sure we share all that stuff. Keep it going, Rene.
Awesome. So the sales math that I use is real simple. If anybody wants to write it down, it's the number 1, 1.5, 2.5, 5, and 25. Right? And I'm gonna Dave, anybody who downloads the script, I'm gonna send over to you or whatever. I'll send out videos on the sales math specifically. But one loan comes from 1.5 applications. 1.5 applications comes from 2.5 meetings. 2.5 meetings are generated from 5 leads, because 50% of the leads will meet with you. To generate 5 leads, you got to talk to 25 people, which is 20%, 1-to-5 ratio. So that math translated into dollars. A loan equals $3,000 in commission. That means that your applications are worth $2,000. That means that your meetings are worth $1,200. That means that your leads are worth $600, and your leads are worth $600, but your talk tos are worth $120. So it almost matches up perfectly to what the research or the case study that we did. I mean, literally within $20 on the talk to, but it was within $1 on the lead value. So it's pretty cool. So let's get into the script. I'm going to show you real briefly what this looks like here. I'm going to show the screen real fast and then pull it away, because I want to go into the psychology behind it. But this is the script. It has phase 1, greeting, and what we call route control. And I'll explain to you that. And then the big decision, route frame, and then we'll get into booking the appointment. So this is all in detail there, but I want to give the context to it before we go into it. So let's talk about routing for a minute. Okay, I'm going to put myself back on, and Michelle, I'm going to ask you to unmute, because I'm going to use you a little bit on this, okay?
Okay.
So let's go back to this concept called routing. Now, Michelle, we're going to have a different conversation for a minute. We'll talk to you as a female. Have you ever been hit on before?
Yes.
Right. Okay. About how soon do you pick it up that the gentleman is, or female is looking to hit on you?
It depends. I'm kind of one of those weird ones. I don't figure it out for a while. I would say it takes a couple of minutes for me.
Takes a couple of minutes. Okay. But when you figure it out, right? Now, most of the time they're not being direct. Hey, I'm hitting on you. It's usually an indirect conversation about other things, right? Now, if you're a female on this and you've been at a bar and it's ladies' night, and all of a sudden you've got your backs turned towards the crowd, you're facing the bar, and you turn around and you see that guy looking at you, and he's got that look, that eye of the tiger that's coming. You immediately know, right? So now he comes up to you and he asks, hey, do you think these brown shoes go better or black shoes go better with my outfit? Now, he just asked you a question. Is he really asking you about his shoes, or is there some other agenda?
No, he's wanting to see if I'm interested in taking it to the next conversation level.
Yes, right, perfect. So that is what we call a route. Okay, so what I need people to understand, that people carry, real estate agents have above their head this little iPad, right? And in that iPad is the route of what's going on. If I call, and females have it too, if I say, hey, I talk about my shoes, in that route that says, even though I said I want to talk about shoes, the route that you have about this, he wants to take it to the next level. He wants my number. He wants X, Y, and Z. If I call a real estate agent and I say, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Agent, would love to talk to you a little bit more about your business. Would you like to have coffee? I'm asking about coffee, but in his route, what am I asking for?
His business.
Business. That all that real estate agent hears is another loan officer wanting my business. Mm-hmm. So to understand scripting and to understand, and this applies to everything, but we're talking specifically about me picking up the phone and calling an agent. We have to understand routing. And the coolest thing about routing is if I don't provide a route reason, the agent will provide one for me. But if I provide one, then I own the route. Some people call it a frame. So if I came to you differently in the bar and I said, Michelle, quick question. Me and my friends are having this discussion and we just need a female opinion. Do you think brown goes with this or brown or black? What's your thoughts? Now, what's different about that? It's not about you anymore. This is now about a conversation about me and my friends. So in the root, above her head, I put in conversation about friends. We just need a female perspective. That root may buy me 10 to 15 seconds. But if I then switch immediately, you own the root again of he just used that. And what's worse, you'll feel duped. And now I'm a liar. I hear this all the time because in the Amplify course, I have men that approach me, sometimes single men, who will say, Rene, does this work with females? I want to be able to talk to, and I want to preface what I'm about to say. There are a lot of really good, lonely men out there. That's a reality, that don't know how to talk to females, that don't know how to do this. There are a lot of really good loan officers that are broke because they don't know how to talk to agents. High integrity loan officers that are super smart, but they pick up the phone and all of a sudden they start trembling. Good men that are good, great money, they're good-hearted, of integrity, loyal, awesome things to offer, but when they talk to a female, they start to tremble. That to me is a crime. And so all of this kind of comes back to, I like relating it to real life as well, because this is life, right? So if I am approaching that person, a person says, well, nice guys end up finishing last. And I said, no, nice guys are liars. And they look at me like, what do you mean I'm a liar? I said, well, why did you talk to her? Why did you go up to, why are you being nice to her? Well, because that's what my mother taught me. I'm like, bullshit. Why then, if that's true, why aren't you nice to that person and that person and that person? Why did you just choose this one magically out of the air? And after, I'm saving you the suspenses, finally they admit, okay, because I like them. Okay, so you're being nice because you like them in hopes of something else. And guess who knows that? That your niceness is in hope of something else. She does. That's why you finish last. She doesn't trust you. But that douchebag over there that you call a douchebag, at least he's honest about what he wants. And she can approach with her eyes open and say, yeah, I know what he wants, but at least he's somewhat kind of funny. And from there, at least he's engaged because it's an honest conversation. So we have to get past it with the agent to being nice to an agent over the phone, or going through this whole process of trying to pretend to be a certain way when the agent's going to read right through it. We have to learn how to add value, and we have to control the immediate psychology of what's going on, which is that root. So to understand the script, you have to understand rooting. So now I'm about to go into it, but I have to do an integrity check. So by show of hands, all of us on this call, I made a personal decision in 2020. I make this decision every single year to surround myself with quality people that are going to push me to the next level, people that have the same values that I do, people that have the same commitment to excellence. And so I am on a search for people like that. Now, I'm going to ask everybody else, who would like to join me on that? Do you guys want to join me on that? Michelle?
Yeah.
Awesome. Todd?
I'm in.
And Dave? You're in? Perfect. And if you're listening
I'm
to this,
I'm in.
So if you're listening to this, I need you to agree to that statement for the script to work. Okay? Like you have to buy into that. I want to surround myself with good people. That means if you meet a bad person, you don't want them. If you meet an agent that is pompous and a dickhead and elitist and doesn't want to talk to you, guess what? Doesn't fit your vibe. You don't need to talk to them. So there's a reason why we need to do that. Okay? Dr. Robert Cialdini, in his Psychology of Influence, it's one of the laws of influence is the law of liking. And really what it says is that people tend to we like those who like us, right? You like me, I end up liking you more. So what ends up happening in this approach to a new realtor, the same way as approach to the opposite sex, is we want them to like us. And the reason I feel this fear of picking up that phone is because I want someone to like me. I pick up the agent, the call to call the agent. I want the agent to like me. So what does a conversation like that sound like? Well, here's what my products, here's what this is what I've done. And all this stuff of hope you like me. I throw it all out there. And if they don't like me, I personally feel rejected, and rejection doesn't feel good. Therefore, making a phone call and a cold call sucks. Rejection and the fear of rejection is self-created. It's self-created because we have created this desire to want to be liked. That's it. And it's a selfish desire. It's a underhanded, hidden agenda that has to go away. And so I'm going to ask you, stop trying to get agents to like you. Just stop. Now, I'm not saying to go the opposite way. I'm saying do something different. I want you to learn how to proactively try to like an agent. So how do you do that? So I'm going to show you in a minute. I went and just clicked on a bunch of realtor websites that I've got teed up. I haven't looked at them. So I'm going to show you in a minute what I would do prior to calling that agent into how you proactively search for something. But if I'm trying to like you, I'm asking different questions. And now this goes into the how to be a conversationalist training that we had. And so Dave, I'll send you that link with the one who was in the lime green shirt. In fact, it's this one right here. Where is it? Yeah, you'll see me in the lime green shirt there. That one. It says how to amplify influence. This one, dealing with rejection. We go into detail about how to be a conversationalist and the love method, everything there. So watch that if you can. I think you'll find more value in that. So let's see, get rid of that. There we go. So that piece will be critical because once you get the appointment, you're going to need to learn how to do that. But we got to get rid of this need to like people, start liking people. So how does that work? All right. So I'm just going to jump into the script and then we're going to dissect it in detail. And Michelle and Todd and Dave, start throwing your questions and just let me know if somebody asks a question or whatever. So the overarching, first, are any questions so far? Todd, Michelle, anything you want to add on just what I've said on sort of this preface here?
No, I'm just on the edge of my seat waiting for the magic script. Now that I'm proactively ready to like it.
I want to say something because, you know, what I love about this conversation so far is we're doing this call on scripts and everybody, you know, what's the words, what's the script? And you've spent half the time talking about inside, you know, like, don't worry about being liked, focus on liking other people. And that really is where the magic happens. It's all in your head, it's all in your heart. And so I just want to make sure everybody really noticed that it's not the words, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And then of course, when it comes to prospecting, it's not what you say and how you say it, it's how often you say it. And so I love that you spent all this time just digging the foundation because it's a difference maker, brother. Keep it rolling. And let's get to some words. I'm
glad you saw that because we're in a world of transparency where transparency isn't a choice anymore. You're either transparent by choice or you're transparent by somebody else calling you out in some sort of social format. It doesn't work. So if we can get back to this place of saying, this is where I'm coming from, I think you'll be refreshing to the realtor. So let's go put this out. I got too many screens open here. Where is it? It's back here somewhere. There it is. All right. So Todd, I'm just going to use you since you're there, and we're gonna kind of go through it. And in fact, I'm not going to go through it with you. I'm just going to read through it. We'll see how this works. Remember, this is something that I like going through live, and there's going to be a lot of questions that come in. And this isn't about the script, even though there's a lot of things that are in here that are critically important. I tried to highlight, and I'll go through the psychology behind the wording and everything. But we'll go through it. So phase one, greeting and route control number one. So real basic stuff. Hi, this is Rene Rodriguez. Or hi, Mr. and Mrs. Agent. This is Rene Rodriguez. I'm calling on behalf of the Todd Bookspan team of which company are you with, Todd?
Well, I don't originate, but my team is at Fairway.
Okay, so it's at Fairway. So Todd Bookspan team of Fairway Mortgage. I hope I'm not interrupting anything. And so this is just simple stuff. This is not anything unnormal, but it's just a basic courtesy to say, I hope I'm not interrupting anything. Because if you just go off and don't talk, I mean, this is basic 101, and keep talking. You haven't asked, if they're in the middle, yeah, I'm in an ER. Did you need anything? You're kind of a jerk for keeping talking. So if you ask that with a positive attitude, voice inflection, if you notice how I said it, yeah, I hope I'm not interrupting anything. It's positive, very important. Pete, great. So now route control number one, great. No matter what he says, typically it's usually, you know, hey, I'm busy. Great. I can still go into this. Great. Well, the meeting now, here's a piece where I'm going to go through it and I'm going to come back and backfill what I mean by this. Great. Well, the reason I'm calling is that your name came up in a meeting last week with, this is some options in here. I'm going to come back. I'm going to do triangle later. Okay. As if you know somebody. In a meeting last week as being an up and coming agent that's doing some really cool things or really unique things in the marketplace. So 2 options. I wanted to say congratulations on that, so I thought you'd really appreciate hearing that. So now let's go back to what just happened here. came up in a meeting last week, if you're like everybody, you're thinking that's a lie. Okay. Currently, it is a lie, but this is how we make it not a lie. If that person, let's say you're in a meeting, because you should have sales call meetings and meetings with the people that you work with, whatever it is, and you go through a list of targeted agents, you're in a meeting, and if they come up as a targeted agent, that is a truth. So I want you to have a targeted list, number one. Two, before you call, if you know somebody, it's a referral, then you can say, you know, hey, you came up in a meeting last week with Michelle Town as you being an up-and-coming agent. Now, all of a sudden, we have the old school triangle for trust. If we both trust this other person, there's a level of trust that kind of defaults to me as well. We feel immediately comfortable. This is such a powerful thing, and it's so simple. If you can find a triangled relationship and mention that person softly in the beginning, not as a name drop, but just as a difference. It's like, yeah, I know this person, I know that person, not name dropping. This is a triangle for trust, is a little bit differently. But if you don't have any of those things, so then you have to learn how to do a 30-second realtor search, okay? So if you find that agent, I want you to find their website. And I went through, I just literally did real estate agent, clicked send, and I had all these things pop up, and I opened up a few of these websites, okay? And so I haven't really looked at these yet, so we'll take a look and see what's there. But let's look at this one. Perfect. All right, so immediately, what do I see? I'm about to call this guy named Jesse Godzilla. Godzilla, that's cool, like Godzilla. And works for Edina Realty. And so immediately, the first thing I notice, most people would, I'm not even gonna tell you what I notice. A lot of people would say, typical website, right? But what I have to look for, and I want to even back out of this for just a second. What I'm looking for is to stop looking at this website through my eyes, right? Because I'll show you, I think there was, let's see, there's got to be one that has like a...
Yeah, Rene, are you needing to show your screen right now?
It's not being shown?
Because if you are, it's not being shown if you're trying to share it.
Oh, yeah, let's do that. Okay, good. So, in fact, I'm actually glad because I didn't give away the thunder here. That's good. So, I'm going to talk for another second here. It's not showing? Okay, yeah, it's not showing. Okay, cool. So, let's pretend that you go and you find, have you guys ever seen a real estate agent mission statement? And most of the time, if you look at a realtor mission statement, it's something that is pathetic, to say the least, sad and cliche, and makes you want to throw up in your mouth. That judgment that I just put on it is because I looked at the mission statement through my eyes. But now, if you've ever written a mission statement, so Todd, let me ask you, do you have a mission statement for Win by Noon?
Yes.
How long did it take you to write it?
How long? It took me a while to think of it, but once I knew it, it was really fast.
Yeah, but the whole process?
Well, the whole process.
About it, I mean, because writing is about thinking about it. It's not something that's done overnight. Oh, a mission statement, here it is. It's a process, right?
Oh yeah.
But how long from beginning to end?
I mean, I did it over a few weeks, but I probably put, good, probably 5-6 hours of on time into it.
Okay. Does it mean something to you?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Michelle, do you have a mission statement?
Absolutely.
Does it mean a lot to you?
It means a lot to me.
Was it something you wrote quickly, or did you put some blood, sweat, and tears into it?
A lot of blood, sweat, and tears into it.
Yeah. So did the agents that we look at in their crappy websites. Now, you know why I love finding crappy agent websites? I love them. The ones that are horribly built, that just the design, they got 16 different fonts and the pictures are kind of squished together because they didn't know that you should maintain the aspect ratios, and they've got all things that's not even mobile friendly. I love those websites. You know why?
Because you know how to give advice to fix it.
Nope. But that would be a nice thing to do. It's because I know they built it. I know they sat there late at night trying to figure out how to do a website, and they put their blood, sweat, and tears into this horribly designed site. So if I look at it now through their eyes and not mine, it's a totally different conversation. And if I find a website, I'll give you one quick story. I did this, and we were like, literally, we would do this live. I'd throw my phone down. We'd put up Zillow behind me. I'd have sometimes, 10 people, 10 loan officers to 30 to 40, sometimes even 60 in the room. And I'd say, pick an agent, show me their website, and dial. And this one, we found this crappy one. They were all kind of laughing to try to find me a bad one. And we saw a mission statement that said, my mission is to make the world a better place, one home at a time. Blech, right? You could have Googled cliche mission statements and that would have come up. Or one bright smile at a time or something like that. It was like that. So I said, hold on, let me get rid of Renee's judgment on this, look at it through their eyes and proactively try to like them. Remember, we're trying to stop getting people to like me. And I go, if I were to look at it through her eyes, she probably built this. That mission statement means something to her. So let me ask. And when I called and I said, Janice, I saw your mission statement and I thought it was very interesting. You said you want to change the world one bright smile at a time. Where did that come from? And she said, oh my gosh, you read it. Like first she was shocked. This is cold. And I said, yeah, I saw it here. Your name came up in a meeting and I pulled up your website and I saw it. I was just curious as to where that came from. She said, well, my mother has cancer and she's been a real estate agent her whole life. And she used to tell me all the time, she said, I put smiles on people's faces because when I put them in their first home, I know I'm changing the world. I'm changing the kids, the child's world. I'm changing the community. And so I get to change the world one bright smile at a time when I sell at home. And she said, and my mother passed away last year. And so I get to carry her legacy. I get emotional talking about it. I am 15 seconds into a conversation and I love this woman. I love her. And I'm emotional right now. And I'm going, I would have missed that if I would have looked at through my selfish, judgmental eyes of, she doesn't know how to design a website. She's probably an agent that doesn't have the money to pay for something or blah, blah. Went through this whole thing. But if I got rid of that and I said, hold on a second, let me proactively try to like them and ask the right question. And all of a sudden this came out. And I just said that I was blown away. I go, I don't even know what to say. And then I went into the rest of the script, which will make sense now. And let's just use that as an example. When I go into this piece where it says, well, in fact, you know what? I'm going to hold off on that. I'm going to go because you can, or you can't see my screen. That's what it is. You can't see it. No, you can. All right, let me put this back on. Perfect. All right, here we go. So I'm going to show you a couple more websites and we'll come back to that and what that sort of how I translated that. So here's another one, Mike and Emily Strand. And so I look at this, I give myself 30 seconds. What do I see? Okay, website, Edina, Christmas theme, top performing agents, buyers, members of Edina, top circle, chairman circle. Oh, that's pretty cool. Recognized nationally. And super agents. Okay, so these guys are top 5%. So immediately, guess what I know? They put that right here. Who's proud of that? They are immediately. So this is going to make it into my conversation. And so then let's go to this one here. So it looks like a typical website, right? Cookie cutter. So I'll look right here and a positive, helpful partner, trusted resource, innovative marketing strategies, expertise. I'm already grabbing innovative marketing. So I'm going to ask about, so what is it about, what is innovative about your marketing? Because I've been searching for stuff like that too. And this guy right here, immediately, the first thing I see is clearly he's proud of his reviews. So I'm going to ask, because I know that's not easy to get. How do you do this? He's got 81 reviews, 35, 112 on Google. He's very passionate about his reviews, ranked best of the best. Very cool. And then look at this one here. Norse. Immediately, Norse tells me something. He's very proud of being Minnesotan. And so there's this. I don't see anything about him here. So I'm going to go to the bottom. There's an about section. I click on that immediately. And then I'll read the about. We understand buying a home isn't a transaction. It's a life-changing experience. That's why highly seasoned professionals dedicated to this and that, team experts, best and the brightest. Mission statement. Here we go. Boom. Mission statement. Our philosophy is simple. Clients come first. When you win, we win. We pledge to be in constant communication with you, keeping you fully informed throughout the entire buying and selling process. So immediately they're saying client is first. And guess what? I believe in that too. I love that. I love win-win. I'm proactively finding things I like about this guy. They pledge to be in constant communication. Immediately I go, gosh, how do they do that? What technology are they using? I'd like to learn about this, right? And so with that, I've got all this fodder in my head of saying, okay, I'm already ready to make this phone call. So now, what would the phone call be like? Let's go to the script. It goes basically like this. So hello, what's his name? Tim. Was his name Tim? Norse Realty. I don't know. It was Tim. Let's pretend his name's Tim. Hey, this is Rene Rodriguez calling on behalf of the Todd Bookspan team of Fairway Mortgage. Hope I'm not interrupting anything. Play along, Todd. Be nice to me this first time around.
Nope. I'm just sitting here hoping someone calls me.
I know the feeling. I know the feeling, Tim. Well, great. Well, the reason I'm calling, Tim, is that your name came up in a meeting last week as being an up-and-coming agent and doing some really cool and unique things in the marketplace. So one, I just thought you'd appreciate hearing that. I wanted to congratulate you on making a splash.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And so let me look at what, so you're with, let's pretend you're with KW, right? Just for the hell of it, I could do that. So immediately, this is important. So now, once I ask this, it's important I go immediately into this next question, okay? And you got to go from this immediately to this next question, because I'm controlling the root. Because if I stay silent, the root starts filling in with, oh God, what does he want? So I'm going to try this again, and I want you to watch how I transition into this immediately, okay? So great. The reason I'm calling is that your name came up at a meeting last week as being an up-and-coming agent that's doing some really cool, unique things in the marketplace. And so I wanted to congratulate you on that.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So how are you enjoying working with Keller Williams so far?
You know, I love it. I think they got such great training and systems and tools.
So now pause here. So immediately I got him talking about his company. So here's what's critical. One of the things that I tell people is you need to know the story of the top agencies, real estate offices in your market. You need to know their story, their founding story, what their value propositions are, what they're most proud of, better than the agents do, so that you can do what I'm about to do next. So you said so I'm going to ask you again and give me the same answer or something similar. So how are you enjoying working at Keller Williams?
Oh, I love it. They got just great tools, great training, great systems.
You know, I couldn't agree more. Actually, one of the probably most influential books in my career has been The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. I mean, you guys literally have nailed it when it comes to training, the 33 touch, 8x8, and the research. I mean, I've never seen a company have such a training that even your competitors come to you guys. I mean, that's pretty fantastic.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, I actually I went to your mega camp and to your, what do you call it, family reunion in Austin, Texas. I mean, I've never seen so much red in my life.
Oh yeah,
So
that was awesome.
So now I am showing that I know and have some history. I've done my research in this conversation and I would do what's called expanding the conversation. Seek to understand more, ask more questions, go deeper. Now this does not last long, okay? You can't do this for too long. I'm saying 30 seconds, maybe a minute max, unless they're just leading it. And sometimes you ask this question and people just go off the handle and they're like, oh my God, I love it. I got this and this and that. You were there? What year were you there? And all of a sudden we're having this, I mean, you'd be surprised. What I found, if you're having this, oh, they wouldn't answer that way. I counted how many negative responses I got to this question. It was 9% of my calls. 9% were the people that go, it's okay. Yeah, it's fine. What do you need from me? So of 100 phone calls, 9 people said that. But guess the 9 that were the most painful for people? Or the ones that were the most, of the 100, it wasn't the 81 or the 91 that went great. It was the 9 that went bad. So if you're remembering this, try not to project those negative conversations onto this. Trust me, if you do this right with the right voice inflection, people will respond differently. So you just have this expanding conversation with them and you go a little bit deeper. And now immediately transition into the big decision route frame. Okay. So now before the route you came up in a meeting last week. Now my route is this decision. Well, Tim, the reason I'm calling is that our team made a decision for 2020 to surround ourselves with agents that are of like mind and share the same values and commitment to excellence as we do. From what I've learned from, if I have a common connection, or from what I've learned and from from our conversations so far, and from what I see on your online profiles, sorry, I stalked you a little bit. It seems like we share some of those same values. So now pause here. This is such a critical statement. The sorry, I stalked you a little bit. This is 2020. Tim, Michelle, is stalking normal? Little Facebook stalking, little Google search here and there. It's absolutely normal. And Tim, if I were to call you out of the blue and I say, hey, sorry, man, I stalked you a little bit before this call, would you be a little bit flattered?
Well, absolutely. You feel a little more like you trust, you're building that trust.
Yeah. And you're kind of, people found you online. Like it's this really cool thing, but you have to kind of call it out. From what I've seen on your online profiles, sorry, I stalked you a little bit. See, I kind of giggle as I say that. Sorry. Sorry. See how that works? sorry, I stalked you a little bit. And because you're just being honest, it's a transparent thing. Hey, I looked you up and that's what I found. It seems like we share some of those values. So now I'm going to pause to let them respond. If they don't respond, just move on to the next part. Don't crumble. Don't get scared. They may just sit there in silence. And here's where salesmanship comes into play. You have to ask. And what we found was around 88% of the time in this script, people would set an appointment. Okay. The sales math thing I did before was some people had the script. I didn't know if they used it or not. They all had it, but I didn't know if they used it. This was when I did it, going around the country live in front of people. Over 80% of the time, people would set this appointment when I did the script. Okay. So let them pause. Sorry, I stalked you a little bit. And then all of a sudden, if they respond, if you want, I'll go through this again. Tim or Todd, give me whatever response you want. So the reason I'm calling is that our team made a decision in 2020 to surround ourselves with agents that are of like mind and share the same values and commitment to excellence as we do. From what I can tell from our conversation and from what I've seen from your online profiles, sorry, Todd, I stalked you a little bit. It seems like we share some of those same values.
So you're a stalker.
It's 2020. I definitely am a stalker. And here's what I'm looking for, Tim, is I'm looking to find a time next week for the both of us to get together and explore this a little bit more. What days of the week are typically bad for you?
I like that negative. What are bad for you? Oh, Mondays and Fridays are terrible for me.
So let's talk about that psychology for a minute. What if I were to say the opposite of this? What days of the week are typically good for you? What's the trained response?
Oh, there's no good day.
There's no good days. So that's a neural pathway. Okay. Neurons are lazy. They follow the path of least resistance. Okay. And so if I say something that you're used to hearing, that neurons go, we know what this one, we got a bullet in the chamber for this one, give them the canned response. And no, man, nothing's good. I was so busy. Why don't you call me in like 2 months and we'll see what happens. Oh, okay. No big deal. Thanks. Glad. Yeah. See, the script doesn't work. When you use this, and I learned this when I was 18 years old selling cookware. If I asked what days of the week are typically bad for you, there is no neural pathway for that one set. So the person has to think. They go, and the moment they go, they have to build a new pathway. And when I force a new thought process, I am more likely to get truth. More likely to get truth. That's why I ask questions. You ask you the same thing so many different times, so many different ways, in the really good sort of assessments. And so if I ask this, you're going to say, like, you give me your answer, the same answer you gave me before. He goes Mondays and Fridays. And internally, as he's saying those days, he goes, shit, I just gave him 3 open days. And so now we've got this, what days of the week typically bad for you? Boom, give these 2. Now I've got these 3. And so I'm going into now basic sales 101, which is the alternate choice question, where I go from a broad decision to a little less broad to a little more specific to really specific. And this is how it works. So Todd, what days of the week are typically bad for you?
Oh, Mondays and Fridays.
Awesome. Well, I have a Tuesday and a Thursday available. Which one is better for you?
Oh gosh, Tuesday.
Tuesday. Awesome. Do you prefer morning or afternoon?
Afternoon.
Awesome. So I've got a 2 p.m. or a 4 p.m. What's better?
Wow. Let me hang on. Oh yeah, 4 p.m.
Awesome. Todd, do you prefer your office or do you have a favorite coffee shop?
Oh, I love Pete's.
You like Pete's? Oh, I've actually never been there. Do they actually brew the coffee on their own?
They do. They're awesome.
See, now that response, you know why I said that? Because I have never been to Pete's. It was like an honest thing. And that's where you have to get to this place of proactively finding things you like. He said, oh, I like Pete's. So when he said, oh, I like Pete's, if I'm listening and observing, so with the love principle, listen, observe, validate, expand, that's the love principle that we learn in the other video. If I'm listening and observing and I validate and I can expand, he goes, wow, I heard a little bit of enthusiasm around Pete's. I'm going to listen to that. I'm going to observe that. And I'm going to play off that. And like, he's enthusiastic. I've never been there. So my odds was, wow, I've never been there. Is it really good? And that's an expanding question. He says, yeah, what it is. So expand again. Do they like roast their own coffee there? I got a buddy of mine, this guy named Dave Savage, cool last name. Literally anytime you're anywhere in the country, he's got this like cool place that he calls Portland Worthy Coffee. So I'll pull a story that's something very real to me that might respond. If he's going, ooh, pizza's really good, he's a coffee enthusiast, I'm going to tell a Dave Savage Portland worthy coffee story right there, right? And it's just pulling stories to be there, and we're just connecting. This is what humans do, right? And guess what? I have not talked about price or products or interest rate. I am here for the reason of one thing, to surround myself with cool people. That's it. Now, here's the thing. If this guy's can I swear on this, Dave? I forget. Can we swear on this at all?
I think you've sweared a bunch already.
Did I? Yeah. So if the guy's an asshole, then my decision is, if I'm trying to surround myself with good people, he has identified himself as not somebody I really like. So guess what I do? It's an easy conversation. I say, Todd, you know what? Hey, thank you for your time. It sounds like you've got everything kind of like in line. I'm very impressed. You know, if there's something I can do in the future, please let me know. But, you know, sorry to waste your time. Hope you have a wonderful day. And I'm off. And I get off the phone going, thank God I don't have to do business with them. But if I really wanted them to like me, I'd go, gosh, this cold calling sucks. No, it doesn't. Crappy people suck. And this is the process of sifting through the crap people to find the good people. And guess what? There are so many cool people out there. And the way they respond and the way that I am is really going to dictate how they are. And so if I go through this piece, now here's another critical golden piece of language here. Do you prefer your office, or do you have a favorite coffee shop? Versus, you want to meet at your office? You want to meet at like a coffee shop or something? That's boring. Do you have a favorite coffee shop? If they don't, what are they going to say?
I don't have one.
Yeah. Or they should say, just meet me at the office. Now, if they say this is critical. You don't say, would you like me to bring you a cup of coffee? What's the answer 100% of the time?
No.
No, because you don't want to put me out. But so what I say is, office, wonderful. What's your favorite coffee? I'll bring you one. So what's your favorite coffee? I'll bring you one. So there's no question. You can't say no. I'm bringing you some coffee. I don't do coffee, tea. Perfect. What's your tea? I'll bring it. Because now we're getting together. So I'm bringing a gift. And I have people go, wow, okay. You know what? I'll take a mocha macchiato, blah, 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 blah. Like, whoa, hold on a second, slow down. Let me write that down. A mocha macchiato with a hint of water, and you want to squeeze a lime in there? Like, yeah, you got to ask for it. It's a little secret menu thing. I'm like, I didn't know that. Like, I've had some weird conversations around coffee. And so in that, it's not, would you like a coffee or not? That's a closed-end question. This is sales 101. What's your favorite kind? I'll bring you one, right? So that's real simple. And then when you get there, because this will work if you do this right and you practice this, I always get this question of, well, what do I say when I get there? And this is where the love principle came out, or the love method. I was thinking, I'm like, did people forget how to be conversationalists? Like, just show up and see if you like each other. If that's the goal, if my goal isn't about doing business, because I don't know if I want to do business with you. I want to surround myself with people that are committed to excellence, share the same values of service and everything that I do. And if we have that, guess what? And I like that about you, you're probably going to like that about me. And guess what's really easy to do if you like me and I like you? Business. It's simple. We have it backwards, folks. Life, business, sales is about sequence. We forget the connection part. Now, if somebody's saying this is a lot of work, you're goddamn right it is. This is selling. You get paid a lot of money to do this. There isn't any other industry that pays you this kind of money to do it. And there are a lot of people that get paid the same and don't do much work. This is work. This is hard. You should be in front of a mirror. Hold yourself. If you hate your voice, awesome. Listen to it more. If you don't like how you look on camera, trust me, I hate how I look on camera. I got a light. I'm sitting forward so I don't look, out of shape. I was in the gym this morning at 5 trying to figure out, man, this damn video thing's keeping me accountable. All those things matter. So it is work, but it's good work and it's worth it. And it's simple. Get on there, learn how to read a website through their eyes, not yours. Practice this, get with a friend, talk to somebody, practice this thing. And there we are.
That is so good.
Rene, dude, this is so good. So, hey, quit sharing your screen. Let's close out. I would love to know what people took down as their closing notes. I wrote down, and again, these are my words, don't work to be liked, but work really hard to love and like your prospect. Stock your prospects online, review their website to find key concepts to show them you know them. I love what you just said, read their website, to find things to connect. You know, ask questions about their company, looking for signals to connect. That was my word. Close for the meeting with a date and time options, and always ask them what's the worst time for them. Biggest reminder for so many loan officers on this call, you know, remember that 9 out of 100 conversations, they won't go well. These won't be people that you want to keep talking with, but you know that that's part of the process. You've got to have 100 conversations to find the 9 that you never want to call again. So there's so much value in this. My ask to everybody on this community, what were your takeaways from this call? 1, make sure you have them for yourself. 2, share them in comments down below. I would love that. Rene, for anyone that wants to get the script, what's the best way to get it? And then for anyone that wants to go to the next level with Amplify, which is something that I'm going through, the number of rock stars in the mortgage coach community that are going through Amplify in 2020 it's staggering. More to be heard on that, but how do people learn more about Amplify? And how do they get the scripts?
Well, I'm learning this too. So I just put a link in the chat. So I'm just see if I can type this. I can't. My keyboard's not there. If you just
don't worry. We can put this down below. So like if you're in Zoom, go to our Facebook group. We'll have links in the Facebook Live comments, and we'll have links where we promoted this. So they'll be in the Mortgage Coach Facebook group. But just tell everybody really quick where to go to, and then we'll put the links down below later.
Sure. The current link to download the script is in the chat, but if you go to See Rene Speak, S-E-E, Rene, R-E-N-E, speak.com, and you click on Amplify or /Amplify, then there's all the Amplify information. But the actual script for this one is there. I'm also, if you do sign up for that script, I'll make sure that you get all of the, we'll just send you the links to, Dave knows the stuff better. Remember, I'm not a marketer, Dave's a marketer. And so we'll make sure that you get all the links to the other videos and training on specifically the love and the whiteboard series too. We get them all those videos too, whatever.
All right. So, and also this is something I'm personally investing a lot in to amplify my leadership skills. So you can always email me at dave@mortgagecoach.com. Todd, is there anything you want to make sure well, let's go to Michelle first. Michelle, anything you want to call out here for the trenches, and then we'll have Todd wrap it up with some coaching next step.
Rene, phenomenal, as always. But I have 2 big things written down, and I don't know, again, the pathway that I'm on in my journey in my life right now is be human and remember your love principle. And you can't go wrong. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
So I guess we're tight on time, but there's people I know are thinking, well, that sounded really easy when I said what day's bad for you. What if they say all 5 days are bad? Like, oh, I got no good times, and you like them, right? They're not one of those 9 jerks you don't want to get to know. How do you overcome that objection?
I probably usually don't.
So
if they don't have time to, if they don't. Yeah, if they don't, I'm like, you know what? Hey, that's great. I said, hey, like I said, I'm calling because I'm trying to find other people. And it sounds like if you've got your network full of those folks, awesome. I truly would love to find a time in that. If you've already figured out how to surround yourself with those folks, that's great. But if there's something that we could squeeze in, it would really mean a lot to me. I do work on the weekends as well. If I'm really liking this person, I'll ask again, and I'll ask maybe 2 and 3 times. To me, if they haven't said no, then they haven't said no to me. If they're saying I'm busy all the time, and then I'll just say, well, what would work for you?
Right. So you'll give them that option.
Yeah. But then silent, what would work for you? And it's such a lost art of silence. Let people dance with what they said. I've got all days. I'm busy all 5 days. Great. What would work for you?
I would say that there's magic in the pause. And I'm assuming that some of the times the 9 people you didn't like were like, oh, I already have a great loan officer. I mean, that was typical answer that I would get when I was prospecting back in the day. And the same thing, right? If you didn't like him, you were jumping off. Yeah.
Well, am I surprised if they have a good loan officer? If they're awesome people? No, awesome people have. I'm like, of course you do. Any awesome people have a good team. Oh, I'll give you one more I'll give you this. Okay. This came out every once in a while. If they wanted to play that game with me, and I'd say, look, and if they say, well, I already got a loan officer, I said, that's fantastic. Any good agent should have their solid team. I too am trying to build my team. We're doing some pretty unique things in our office to generate a lot of leads. And I'm trying to put together my powerhouse team of people that I can trust. again, that have the same level of commitment to service as I do, because as you, I've got to trust people with my clients as well. But it seems like you have enough business. What do you think they say right there?
No. I need some more. You have leads.
Yeah. And so we're doing some pretty cool and unique things. As you, I'm also trying to build my team of trusted professionals. And so if you're already full and you've got your team, hey, kudos. If you have any recommendations of people that are committed to excellence like you are and are like that and are looking to partner with somebody, do you have anybody that you'd recommend? You know, and this is, to me, is this a coffee? I want to get to know them. If I like them and they like me, maybe we can talk about doing some business together. And that's just normal business. You know, this, we try to get cryptic and hiding around the fact that we're looking for that, but add value, be transparent about it, and be good at what you do. And then you can say that.
Love it. All right. That's the cherry on top, folks.
So guys, and a cherry on top, I'm going to put a link down below if you're watching this on our YouTube channel. Jeremy Forcier's interview last year called Scripts, had a lot of his counter moves that he does with agents. So how he keeps asking, link down below. I also did an interview with Jeremy where he talked about guilt marketing. And, you know, a lot of what you covered today, Rene, I mean, mirrors a lot of those concepts. But for everybody who's trying to enhance their scripts to get more meetings with realtors, there's going to be a few more interviews that you can watch down below to take it to the next level. I want to remind you guys, our community is only as good and valuable as your participation and your engagement. So if you got value, give it a like and share your comments, you know, the takeaways that you got, the ideas that you got. Put comments down below so we have an engaged, valuable community here at Mortgage Coach. Rene Rodriguez, I am super pumped to attend your Amplify event this year. This first Mortgage Coach call of 2020 was magic, bro. Biggest takeaway, okay, guys, don't work so hard to be liked. Work harder at loving and liking the people you do business with. Lots of magic will come from that single concept. Easy to say, not easy to do sometimes, but good luck out there, guys. This call is a wrap. Everybody have an awesome weekend, and we'll see you on Tuesday. Or actually, Todd Bookspan will be leading a top producer interview on Tuesday. Take care, everybody.
All right, guys. See you next week.
See ya.